So, ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. We got an update on Grok, and pretty much they've been shipping out a lot of recent updates recently. So, this is actually quite a surprise because last week they just announced they were open source. So, you can see right here on March the 28th, 2024, it says announcing Grok 1.5. Grok 1.5 comes with improved reasoning capabilities and a context length of 128,000 tokens available on X or Twitter.com. Now, this is rather surprising considering the fact that, like I said before, they just went open source, and the ability to get 128,000 tokens seems like maybe there has been some industry inside breakthrough that many are starting to go onto. So it says here, if I just delete this, introducing Grok 1.5, our latest model capable of long context understanding and advanced reasoning. Grok 1.5 will be available to our early user testers and existing Grok users on the X platform in the coming days. By releasing the model weights and network architecture of Grok 1 2 weeks ago, we presented a glimpse into the progress XAI had made up until last November. Since then, we have improved reasoning and problem-solving capabilities in our latest model, Grok 1.5. So, as you can all see, they basically wanted to improve the capabilities and reasoning of this model. So it says I'm just going to zoom in here. One of the most notable improvements in Grok 1.5 is its performance in coding and math-related tasks. In our tests, Grok 1.5 achieved 50.6% score on the math benchmark and a 90% score on the GSM 8K benchmark. Two benchmarks covering a wide range of grade school to high school competition problems, and additionally, it scored 74.1% on the human eval benchmark, which evaluates code generation and problem-solving abilities. Now, you can see right here that this is rather fascinating. So there's so many benchmarks that they compared this to, and we can see we've got Grok 1, then we've also got 1.5, and we can see that on the MMLU, it increased by around 8.3% or 8.1% or whatever. And this is actually pretty decent. We can also see that on the math benchmark, they pretty much doubled the capability there, which is really nice. On the GSM 8K, the grade school math questions, they also went up to 90%, which is actually very, very good. And then on the human eval, they managed to get up to 74%. So I think this is fascinating for two reasons. Number one, if Grok is now going to be open sourcing all of their architecture, then I guess the benchmarks that we compare it to are going to be different than some of the industry standards. Now, one thing that I've recently been thinking about and discussing is that whilst yes, these benchmarks for AI systems are pretty impressive, I think one of the things that most people aren't realizing is that all of these AI systems are actually going to be essentially products. And I think one of the key differences that separates GPT-4 from even some of the better systems like Claude 3's Opus is the fact that it is actually a good product. And whilst Grok 1 is really, really cool, the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that you can have a really, really comprehensive system, but the thing is what is going to be X.AI's product? Are they going to be productizing the X.AI model, productizing Grok 1.5, or are they going to be a completely open source company where they just open source all the models? Like I said, if they decide to, continue open sourcing all their models and, deviate from that the way other companies have, then essentially, if we compare them to the other open source companies, we can actually see that they're quite better than some of them. We can see that compared to Mistral Large, we can see that GSM 8K, it actually does outperform it. So this is pretty crazy, considering the fact that this is now mainly an open source company. I'm not sure if they're going to open source this. I think it's going to be really crazy. Now, what's also crazy as well is the fact that one thing that I want you all to understand about this company is that yes, while Grok 1.5 is trailing behind Gemini 1.5 Pro, GPT-4, and Claude 3 Opus, you have to understand that X.AI is a rather small team, and they are much smaller than some of these large companies. You have to understand companies like, Claude 3 are funded by Anthropic recently. Even I think it was today, they literally got $2.7 billion invested in their company again. They had a lot of investors. They had billions of dollars in funding round. GPT-4 from OpenAI, they had $10 billion from Microsoft, which is absolutely incredible. We know that Gemini 1.5 Pro is from Google, and Google is literally $1 trillion company. So these models are from not $1 trillion companies, but $1 billion companies. And Grok 1.5 is competing, and pretty much, I wouldn't say destroying because that just goes a bit too far, but definitely is on par with some of the other open source models. And not just that, guys, you have to think about the rate of speed in which they've managed to do this. From Elon Musk's announcement until now, I think it's been about 9 months to a year. And in that time, they've actually come quite a long way. So it will be interesting to see how this goes. And with a recent product release, there was something I saw the other day. I'm not sure if you're all clued up on it, but it kind of showed me that AI systems that were going to get new and new releases, and many different companies are going to be releasing different things. Now, in addition, what we also did get was we also did get the long context understanding. So it states here that a new feature in Grok 1.5 is the capability to process long context of up to 128,000 tokens within its context window. This allows Grok to have an increased memory capacity of up to 16 times the previous context length, enabling it to utilize information from substantially longer documents. So this is something that is pretty incredible. You can see right here that the accuracy is pretty much 100%. And this is something that we've seen across the board. And like I said, it's pretty impressive that they've been able to catch up to what some of these other companies are doing. And 128,000 tokens, I'm sure that is going to be providing a lot more utility. It also says that furthermore, the model can handle longer and more complex prompts while still maintaining its instruction followed capacity as its context window expands. In the needle in a haystack evaluation, Grok 1.5 demonstrated powerful retrieval capabilities for embedded text within context of up to 128 tokens, achieving perfect retrieval results. And I find that to be very fascinating because they didn't say near perfect retrieval results, they said perfect retrieval results, which means that maybe they have something even more advanced because that is pretty interesting. Now, in addition, it goes on to state the Grok 1.5 infra. So they state that Grok 1.5 is a cutting-edge LLM, and that research runs on massive GPU clusters that demands robust and flexible infrastructure. Grok 1.5 is built on a custom distributed training framework based on JAX, Rust, and Kubernetes, and this training stack enables our team to prototype ideas and train architectures at scale with minimal effort. A major challenge to training LLMs on large compute clusters is maximizing reliability and uptime of the training job. And our custom training orchestrator ensures that the problematic nodes are automatically detected and ejected from the training job. So we also optimize checkpointing, data loading, and training job restarts to minimize the downtime in the event of a failure. And if working on our training stat sounds interesting to you, you can apply to join the team. So it seems that what they want to do as well is that they've got a really efficient infrastructure in terms of how they manage to train these models and deploy them. And then you could potentially join the team if that's something that you're interested in. And also it says looking ahead, Grok 1.5 will soon be available to early testers, and we look forward to receiving your feedback to help us improve Grok. And as we gradually roll out Grok 1.5 to a wider audience, we're excited to introduce several new features over the coming days. So right here, you can see that they said we're excited to introduce several new features over the coming days. And I'm not sure if they're just talking about the standard Grok or if that includes some additional features. Now, the only thing I would say that annoys me about XAI and their Grok model is that it isn't easily accessible. You have to subscribe to premium, and I've even subscribed to premium, and that just basically means you need to get verified on Twitter, which is like I think $5 or $10 a month. The only problem with that is that I think if you're in the UK or in certain countries, you just don't have access. So it is pretty frustrating at this time to not have access to that model, even though you are paying for premium. And I understand that like there is a wait list, but it still is pretty annoying to not even be able to test out an LLM that is by Elon Musk. You know, he's got a huge fan base, and people really always want to know what his companies are up to. So I think if Elon Musk just put this on a different website, I know he's pretty much obsessed with X.com and driving traffic to there and having, revenue from this. But I just think increased accessibility would be good for the long term. Now, let me know what you think about this model. Do you think this model is really good? Do you think it's really cool? How are you going to be using this model? If you are, let me know what you think. And either way, I'll see you in the next one.